How's it going, guys? My name is Ish and welcome back to Dueling. So last week we talked about the preliminary rounds of the KC Cup and how I was doing at that time. I believe I was at D level 23, but I am extremely happy to say that my Gravekeeper deck has finally maxed out in the tournament. So with that being said, I am able to compete in the first stage of the tournament and on June 11th. And so yeah, like I mentioned last week, I was having issues against the Cyber deck as well as the Dark Magician decks. But with that being said, again, I was able to make the necessary changes that I had to do in order for me to qualify for the tournament. So in today's video, I do want to talk about my deck profile and how I was able to overcome those obstacles. So as you guys can see, I am using Merrick for my character, and with the skill set of the Shadow Game. Shadow Game is a really good skill set to use. So basically what it does is at the end of their respective turn, each player will lose life points equal to 100 times of the number of cards in their own graveyard, right? So it's extremely good against a deck such as Lightsworns, where they have to mill certain amount of cards in order for them to keep their card on the field, right? It's a cost that they have to pay. So with that being said, they have to, either pay 300. I think at one point they had to pay about 1,200 life points in just the first turn, just because of the amount of cards that they had to throw in their graveyard in order for them to continue with their play. But yeah, so let's talk about the deck and how I was able to move forward with this. So as you guys can see, I am running with 2 Gravekeeper Spies, 1 Recruiter, and you guys have noticed, I'm sure, that I am running 2 Kiteroids, and you guys are probably asking, why am I running 2 Kiteroids if I am running with the NECROVALLEY? Because NECROVALLEY will not allow you, or either player, to banish cards from their own graveyard. So basically, Kiteroid works for me as either an insurance policy when I don't have a NECROVALLEY on the field, but it also works as something similar to what a Karibo would do, right? Where or Sphere Karibo, where they just basically stop their attack. But yeah, that's basically why I have those 2 cards in my deck. I don't ever see them as a dead draw. I think that they are extremely useful, especially when it comes down to decks such as the Cyber Dragons. But yeah, so as you guys can see, I am running 1 Descendants and the Guard. Guard is an extremely good card, especially when it comes down to the Cyber Dragon deck. So basically, it's a flip effect monster. I get to target 1 monster that my opponent controls and return them to their hand. Extremely good, especially when I'm facing against the Chimera Tech Over Dragon. So basically, it just stops them after the first attack. I do have the Gravekeeper's Headman. So she basically does is, if this card is summoned, I can target 1 level 4 Gravekeeper monster in my graveyard, and I can special summon it in either attack position or face down defense position. And then obviously I can only use this once per turn, and then this card is unaffected by NECROVALLEY's effects. So it's extremely well, especially when I need either the Guard, or the Gravekeeper Spy to be in face down defense position, or if I have my Gravekeeper Spiritualist in the graveyard, I could just activate Gravekeeper's Headman's effect. In turn, I would be able to get my Spiritualist back out, and then I am able to get my Supernaturalist out. So as long as I do have the NECROVALLEY on the field. I have Gravekeeper's Nobleman. I think I talked about that last video, where I was able to play the defensive position with the Gravekeeper Spy, and then say the Cyber Dragon attacks again with I can go into a Nobleman, and then from the Nobleman they attack again, right? Then I can go for the Nobleman back into my Gravekeeper Spy and then continue on with my play. I do have my Gravekeeper Shaman. She is extremely great, especially the amount of stars because of my Supernaturalist. But also, her effect is amazing as well. So this card gains 200 defense for each Gravekeeper monster in my graveyard, and I get to negate all monster effects that activate in the graveyard except for Gravekeeper monsters. And so, while NECROVALLEY is on the field, my opponent cannot activate field spell cards. Also, field spell cards cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect. So, it's extremely good when it comes down to playing against Cyber Dragons when they do have the Fusion Gate on their side of the field, or if they even try to activate it, right? But yeah. I do have one Gravekeeper's Heretic, which is a huge lifesaver, and this card has saved my life a lot of times. So basically, this card on the field is unaffected by all other card effects as long as NECROVALLEY is on the field. So I summon Gravekeeper's Heretic. They try to do a, let's say, what was that trap hole called, right? That trap hole, and then basically it just doesn't work on him. So he's extremely good. He's also an 1800 beat stick, so it's a pretty strong card as well for a level 4. The only downside to it is that NECROVALLEY allows all monsters to get, or not all monsters, but all Gravekeeper monsters 500 attack and defense. Unfortunately, the Gravekeeper's Heretic will not reap that reward, but in turn, I am able to not get affected by any other card on the field. I mentioned already what a Spiritualist does. I do have 2 NECROVALLEY's Thrones. Basically, I can either add one card in my one Gravekeeper card from my graveyard. I mean, from my deck to my hand. I'm sorry. I'm a little excited because of the cup, and I'm able to move forward with that. Anyways, or I can immediately normal summon another Gravekeeper monster, and then I can only activate one of these once per turn. I do have one Gravekeeper Stell. I can target 2 Gravekeeper monsters in my graveyard and add those targets to my hand. One Polymerization in case I do not have a NECROVALLEY and I do need one of these 4 monsters. As you guys can see, I am running the Quintet Magician. Extremely good card. I'm sure you guys know what this card does, but if you don't, I need to have 5 spellcaster type monsters in order for me to summon this card. It has to be fusion summoned. If this card is fusion summoned using 5 spellcaster monsters with different names, I can destroy all cards on my opponent's side of the field. And then also this card on the field cannot be tributed nor used as a fusion material. Also, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. And if you guys notice, the attack and defense on this thing is extremely high. So it'll be extremely difficult for an opponent to even run them over, even with the Egyptian god cards. So it's a really good beat stick, as well as a I guess a Regeki, right? When it comes down to their side of the field. I am running 1 Hidden Temples of NECROVALLEY because I can search with my Supernaturalist. So basically, this card, it stops my opponent from special summoning monsters, synchro summoning monsters, fusioning monsters, whatever it is. It just stops them in their tracks. Oops. It just stops them in tracks, and it just forces them to basically either end their turn or attack. But yeah, I do have 2 Power of the Guardians, extremely good, especially when I do connect it with the Spiritualist or any of these Gravekeeper monsters. And then I also have 1 NECROVALLEY's Temple. And basically what this card does is while a Gravekeeper monster and a NECROVALLEY are both on the field, monsters my opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense once per turn during my main phase. If I control no card in my field zone, I can activate a NECROVALLEY directly from my hand or graveyard. If this card in my possession is destroyed by an opponent's effect and sent to my graveyard, I can set 1 NECROVALLEY spell or trap card directly from my deck, except for NECROVALLEY's Temple. So it's an extremely good card for me to have in this thing. But yeah, I'm gonna post up a video of the gameplay on how I was able to perform well with this deck. One of the games is against my cousin, so shout out to my cousin who also got me those cards. But yeah, overall, I do want you guys to try this deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your day, enjoy this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Also, like this video and share this video to any other player who likes Gravekeepers and want to move forward with their journey in the KC Cup. Good luck to all of you guys. I will see you guys on June 11th in the first stages of the preliminary, actually the first stage of the tournament. I will catch you guys later. Keep on dueling, and yeah, bye.
Let the destruction commence!
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at him. Let's go.
You will plummet into the shadows. Duel. My turn. From my hand, I activate a spell. I set a monster. My turn is over. Excellent.
It's my turn. Draw! From my hand, I activate a spell. I'll play this. I summon a monster in attack position. My monster's effect activates. Watch closely. I special summon a monster. Watch closely. I synchro summon a monster. My monster's effect activates. I'll play this. I special summon a monster. Here I come. I synchro summon a monster. My monster's effect activates. Here I come. I special summon a monster. Watch closely. I synchro summon a monster. My monster's effect activates. Watch closely. I special summon a monster. Battle now. I attack with a monster.
Not so fast. My monster's effect activates.
I end my turn.
Let the destruction commence. My turn. Draw. From my hand, I activate a spell. I summon a monster in attack position. From my hand, I activate a spell. Show yourself. I fusion summon a monster. My monster's effect activates. From my hand, I activate an equip spell. My monster's effect activates. Time for battle. I never show mercy. My monster attacks you. I activate an equip spell. My turn is over. Excellent.
Get ready. My turn. Draw. Watch closely. I summon a monster in attack position. My monster's effect activates. Here I come. I special summon a monster. My monster's effect activates. My monster's effect activates. I'll play this. I special summon a monster. I end my turn.
Excellent. It's my turn. Draw. From my hand, my field spell activates. Come to me. I summon a monster in attack position. My monster's effect activates. My monster's effect activates. Time for battle. Go! My monster attacks. I activate an equip spell.
Victory was in my grasp, but I somehow let it slip away.
Enjoy the Shadow Realm!